postured very well, and of course, if someone's out there listening and going, "Well, my house isn't selling," well, it's like trying to predict the weather for the country.
Right.
You can't do it. You say, "Oh, it's raining in the U.S."
Hey, like we need the weather just for Houston's coming up.
It's raining out in Katy, but it's not raining in town. It's exactly like that. But Katy's a prime example. They have a 2.5-month supply of homes out in Katy, and they are postured, of course, to being close to the energy corridor, and so they're getting to enjoy the people coming in for like BP, British Petroleum, and companies like that who are still transferring people in. They've got a big 80-some-odd acre tract out there in Interstate 10 that they're developing right now, and so we're still getting people moving in. So
right.
A lot of that oil economy is flaming the jobs market, which of course helps the home market. What is a really interesting number that we've just gotten some preliminary numbers for September is that leases were up 20 to 25%. So in our estimation is that those people probably would have bought had they not gotten nervous. And again, sometimes, and God bless the media, we love them, but every once in a while they start putting stories out there that things are bad, and people go, oh, wait a minute, maybe I better not buy right now.
And I talk about that all the time over at Biz Plus blog. I mean, that's one of my big themes, if you will, that I keep pounding, is the fact that the news is bad and it's often distorted to be bad, and as a result, people respond accordingly.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily wrong information. They're just
what's the spin? What's the spin you're going to take? Half empty or half full? And so often they choose the half empty approach. I do want to point out something that you made a fantastic point in that what is happening in the reforms, if you will, that's taking place in the funding arena by tightening the credit, as you point out, is that you've literally taken out a huge percentage. How huge, I don't know. It would be a great number to find out of people who could even qualify to buy real estate. And so that automatically is going to have a structural effect, if you will, on demand.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I'd love to know what that number is, but I imagine it's got to be fairly significant. Maybe, I don't know, it'd be pure guessing, but I would think it'd be fairly high.
The leases also are at the low end of the market, typically, right?
A lot of times, but we do get people transferring, and instead of buying, they may lease. Okay. And again, you get out into the area where the Katy and stuff, people are paid $4,000 or $5,000 a month to lease. I mean, they have very definite ideas. They come in from another part of the country or another country, and they want a 4-bedroom with a pool and ready to be moved into nice house. So there's still a lot of that going on, and they may come in, and again, there's some nervous posturing here as to what do I do? And so a lot of times the easiest thing is to do nothing, and that in itself is a decision.
Well, the data that you just mentioned backs up exactly what we talk about week in and week out. And in fact, you built it. Our business in the last 2 months has been the best ever. And we're in the $300 to $1 million home range, and that segment is just going better than ever. So you've got the actual facts to back it up. We see a few customers, but the overall market just supports that same data.
Exactly. And again, the entry level type home builders are probably, according to GHBA numbers, probably down about 8% overall for the building industry. But again, if you take it, componentize it, it's probably that entry level to that that 150 level, and those people can't get a loan right now because it's not necessarily their credit. It's basically that lenders that say, you know what, we've made some errors, we got to relook at this, we're going to restructure our underwriting guidelines, and you're starting to see that happen. And now in the jumbo side, you may have seen this. We've had agents talk about they've gone to close and they've worked with a mortgage person who often represents many lenders, and they'll go to a closing and there's no money at the closing because that lender pulled out of the jumbo market. Now that's starting to loosen up now too, because they're saying, well, this is really silly. Here's, A-plus buyers putting down 20%, and we're trying to charge them 8 and 9% because we think it's a high-risk loan when it's absolutely not. So, lenders they like a lot of people, they overreact.
Overreacted, exactly.